Welcome, welcome, welcome to the live stream. You can hit that like, subscribe, notification bell. I go live every weekday. Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the struggle. Every day's a struggle. And if you work for a living, solidarity with you. Us workers of the world need to unite. I want to talk about this absolutely terrifying article in, what's the article? Interestingengineering.com. I feel like this is the second or third time I'm reading from interestingengineering.com. It's always horrifying. It's always about how robots, AI, ChatGPT is like just about to surpass humanity in us knowing ourselves and what the proper route, what our proper fate should be. And this MIT study, it feels like some dystopian future stuff. If you have ever seen Tom Cruise's movie Minority Report, where, brief breakdown, I won't go too much into it. Tom Cruise, I think, was it the 90s? I don't remember. Minority Report. Computers could basically determine who was going to commit a crime before the crime happened. I gotta figure out, when was the movie? If you know, drop it in the comments. When did Minority Report come out? I think it was the 90s. Minority Report, or if it 1956. Oh, 2002. Sorry, 2002. Here, I'll show you if you want to watch it. If you haven't seen it, you're a young head. It's based on a story framed by science fiction writer. Oh, I guess it's based on a book. It's an action detective thriller set in DC in 2054, where police utilize a psychic technology to arrest and convict murderers before they commit their crime. Tom Cruise plays the head of this pre-crime unit and is himself accused of the future murder of a man he hasn't even met. Well, isn't that the typical thing that can go wrong with technology? Tom, did you try unplugging and plugging the psychic technology back in if you were innocent of this crime? Did you turn it on and turn it off, Tom? I feel like that's what that's the terrifying thing too about this tech. What happens when you reach out to IT, your technical support at the office? What do they ask you? Did you turn it on and turn it off? Just wait until this AI, what is this MIT study? Wait until this AI model that can predict the future actions of humans goes awry or gets hacked or glitches. This is terrifying stuff. This is absolutely dystopian information that I feel like people are just kind of glancing at, being like, that might be cool. And it's not. When this falls into the wrong hands, we're all doomed. Just think about your bosses, okay? Imagine your bosses got this. And I'm going to read this study in a second. I think my fear and anxiety is just coming out in this little panic attack, this little episode I'm having when I start thinking about how if capitalism or your bosses get a hold of technology that can predict your behavior, or quote unquote AI can predict your future behavior, and your boss is like, you know what? I feel like the machine's saying you're going to call in sick next week, and you're not going to be sick because technically you were sick 3 months ago with this strain of this, and it's all in your 23andMe genetics report that we got from the lab, and they're going to be calling you out on calling in sick when you really just wanted a beach day. This is horrifying, people. Us humans, never mind workers of the world unite, us humans got to come together. I guess we'll go into the article. Again, if you're just joining, please hit subscribe. I go live every weekday. I talk about the struggle, the class war, other things that might make our lives better or worse. This might be one of those that makes it worse. And I always try to do it with an edge of sarcasm and comedy, okay? I can't unplug this. My thing's about to die. Oh, and so if you haven't subscribed, please do hit the notification bell. I go live every weekday, 5 days a week, sometimes twice, and sometimes on the weekends. But I give you my word that I'm going live every weekday. So if you could help me get those likes and subscribes up, it would mean the world to me. I've been doing this for months, going live every weekday. I've been on YouTube since, 2008, and I can't do it without you. So your likes and subscribes are appreciated. And if you want to join the live stream whenever I go live, hit the notification bell. That way you'll be alerted and you can join me, talk in the comments. And that's what I was getting at. All that to tell you, the article to interestingengineering.com is in the description. And I highly suggest you read this. And in this interesting engineering article, they link the MIT study. So if you got a brain for reading studies or court documents or whatever, they're all kind of the same. They're all long 20-page whatever documents where you're going to look up every other word, which I've done before, but it's not fun. But this article from Interesting Engineering actually links the MIT study. Let's talk about it. I'm going to just read some of this because it's really fascinating, and the way they're having AI learn to predict human behavior is so basic, but once you hear it, you go, oh my God, that works. Like, that's the terrifyingly frightening thing. Humans are kind of very predictable. Let's face it. You ever listen to like an FBI investigator, or would you call it an FBI investigator? Or is that like ATM machine? You don't have to say machine. If you ever listen to somebody who's in the FBI and they talk about like when they stake somebody out, pretty basic. People are creatures of habit. They get up, they take the same route to work, they go to work, they come home the same way. They like their 3 squares and a nice place to sleep, and even when they stop and get coffee. Just as somebody who works in the service sector right now, an essential worker who can't essentially afford any essentials, these people love their routine. They like doing the same thing every day, the same drink every day. Monotony drives me nuts. I can't take it. But if that's you, good on you. But when you think about that, how simple and predictable we truly are, and you read this article, highly suggest read it, put it in the description, you realize like this is going to work. These robots are going to figure us out in like a heartbeat. Like, this shouldn't even be tough for the robots. They're going to be like, these basic bitches, we know what they're going to do. Now, when it comes to like going rogue and maybe committing a crime or calling out a work sick, I hesitate to think what's going to happen. But let me read some of this to you. So again, there's the article. And that's the other reason why I say if you could subscribe, like, comment, because I hate doing this setup on my phone. I want to get a computer with a cam, and I could just I see these live streamers. I love watching live stream. I see them bring the article up like a professional TV show. I want that. And I can only do it with your help. So hit that subscribe button. All right, it says, a new study from researchers at MIT and the University of Washington reveal an AI model that can accurately predict a person or machine's future actions. That sentence is nuts. I was a kid in the 90s. If you said that to me in the 90s, I would have thought you were talking about a Tom Cruise movie, some dystopian futuristic thing. I'd never thought we'd be here in 2024 actually saying like, oh, AI can predict what you're gonna, when you're gonna have a bowel movement next week. But here we are. Awesome. The AI is known as the Latent Inference Budget Model, LIBM. Why didn't they just call it LIBM? Anyways, the study authors claim that LIBM is better than other previously proposed frameworks capable of modeling human decision making. Let's get into how it works. It works by examining past behavior, actions, and limitations linked to the thinking process of an agent. I don't like that they're calling us agents in this. That's very matrixy, which could be either human or another AI. The data or result obtained after the assessment is called the inference budget. Remember that. Pop quiz at the end. They used it to predict the moves of human players in a chess game. Our results show that suboptimal human decision making can be efficiently modeled with computational constrained versions of standard search algorithms. And again, it has links to all the actual studies. So if you want to read the actual studies and comb through that, I I recommend it. You can find out what horror we're in for the future. I mean, there's got to be upsides to this, right? There's got to be. I don't see any yet. Leave in the comments if you can figure out what the upside to this is. I mean, who would want to predict our behavior? That's the other question you got to ask. Who? Who benefits from them predicting our behavior? I can think of cops and bosses. If you can think of somebody that benefits, how this would benefit us, maybe us changing our life. Again, I can't think of any positives. I'm sorry to be a negative Nancy, but please leave it in the comments if you can figure out like how this isn't like health stuff. This isn't like, predicting a heart attack. This is just predicting our behavior. So, how does the AI model predict human behavior? The decision-making process of an agent, LIBM, first analyzes an individual's behaviors. In other words, we seek to model both what agents wish to do and what agents will actually do in any given state. I'm going to skip ahead because I want to read how they got this to do it. The model examined language and communications related cues. It says, quote, humans readily produce and understand language in ways that deviate from its literal meaning. No shit. The researchers made the subjects play a reference game. The game involves a speaker and a listener. The latter receives a set of colors. They pick one but can't tell the name of the color they pick directly to the listener. And then basically it says the speaker gives out different words as hints. If the listener selects the same color as the speaker picked from the set, they both win. So it's a guessing game. It's like guess who. Or what's that game? Not charades where you're acted out, but you know what I mean? Like there's one of those board games. One of those. What's the board game manufacturer? The huge one. Can't think of them right now. But essentially, it's a board game. You pick a color. You can't say, oh, it's blue, but you can say like color of the sky. So all this is being recorded and basically turned into data for an AI program. By fitting an LIBM to utterances and choices in human reference games, we investigate whether we can infer whether humans are engaged in pragmatic reasoning from behavior alone, whether there are differences between players in their ability to reason about the interlocutors. I don't know what that means. Should have looked that up. And whether these differences actually predict communicative success. It says, then they modeled human chess play. So that's one of the first things. So basic, but essentially what this AI program is taking in from a simple game as guess the color is a lot. I mean, it's telling this computer, how basic of a bitch we are, but what we choose to describe a color as, and if we can guess it. So next, they focused on the time different human players took to make their moves during a chess game. They also noticed the difference in time weaker and stronger chess players spent thinking about their moves. At the end of the day, we saw that the depth of the planning, or how long someone thinks about the problem, is a really good proxy of how humans behave. Whoa. I wonder what that says about me, because it takes me a long time to make a move in chess. I ain't one of them speed chess dudes that hit the clock. When me and my daughter play, I think every possible move. And then if I move and I didn't consider a move, I get real ready to knock the board over, because I'm like, how did I not consider that one? But it's also one of the reasons it's irritating to play chess with me, because, I have no poker face. I'm just trying to do all the moves in my head before I make one. It says the aim was to find out whether they could feed this data to the LIBM and model variability in players' decisions across game states. The inference budget, remember that, accurately highlighted the difference between it literally says the difference between the difference between. Did AI write this? Between weaker and stronger chess players. The most striking thing was the fact that this inference budget is very interpretable. It is saying tougher problems require more planning, or being a strong player means planning for longer. When we first set out to do this, we didn't think that our algorithm would be able to pick up on those behaviors naturally. So this is what the computer's learning, that people who thought longer, and this is like, you know, on a scope of, I'm guessing, lots of people, lots of games. So what this AI model figured out is like the people who thought longer about their moves would win more, and they were stronger chess players. This is not like people determining it. This is like data, like Excel spreadsheet shit. Sorry, I lost my note. Okay, so, totally lost where I was. I'm sorry. Okay, so they said, we first set out. It says the tougher problems require more planning, or being a stronger player means planning for longer. When we first set out to do this, we didn't think that our algorithm would be able to pick up on those behaviors naturally. Ooh, what else can the algorithm do? If the AI model knows which player is better, it is likely to accurately predict which player is going to win the game. So now they're using it to predict who will win. And then it says, the next section, this AI model can help us make better decisions. Who's us? That's what I want to know. Is it cops? Is it help cops make better decisions? Is it help bosses make better decisions? It says the 3 steps show that the LIBM framework has the potential to model almost all aspects of human decision making, including routines, behavior, communication, and strategy. Now listen, that's the one thing. Because routines and behavior feels very like we're going into a science sky world dystopian future where it's going to predict if we're going to have a bad day and go rogue, and I don't trust that. But the communication and strategy part might be good. Let's say you're looking for a job, right? You're all over LinkedIn, and LinkedIn's got a billion AI bots trying to tell you how to write a resume correctly. This potentially, once it examines your past or goes through things, could help you figure out a better way to communicate, something that you've been lacking in to get a job, or to communicate with people, or to strategize about how to go about this the best way. I think that's the only positive I can find so far. Maybe in your personal life, communicating with people. But then again, you would have to probably have some kind of AI thing recording you all the time to get accurate data of yourself, which is another can of worms. Now it says, we demonstrated that it can outperform classical models of bounded rationality while imputing meaningful measures of human skill and task difficulty. What makes LIBM different from previous models is that instead of random data, it takes the past behavior and limitations of an agent. Remember, they're saying agent, they mean us. They mean the human. That's so deceiving. Agent sounds like they're talking about someone in the Matrix. I'm just going to say past behavior and limitations of the human into consideration to produce results. So basically, it's examining your past. It's looking at your life's resume and saying, this is where you're going to screw up in the future. Quote, if we know that a human is about to make a mistake, having seen how they have behaved before, the AI agent, the AI robot, algorithm, data, app, maybe it would be an AI app, could step in and offer a better way to do it, or the agent could adapt to the weaknesses that its human collaborators have. Being able to model human behavior is an important step toward building an AI agent that can actually help the human. I don't like how they phrase that. It's an important step toward building an AI agent that can actually help the human. Is that insinuating that it's probably not going to help us a lot more than it does? Why did they say actually? Why didn't they say building an AI agent that can help humans instead of actually? That's bugging me. The current study will also allow scientists to teach the details of human behavior to AI programs more effectively. However, it's not a perfect framework. Jacob and his team now plan to do further research to come up with better models. Did I miss reading where Jacob came from? How are they like name dropping this dude at the end? They're like, Jake and his pals are really trying to work this out at MIT. And then at the end it says, you can read the study here. It's a weird article. Again, on my lives, I always try to put whatever article I'm reading from, or most of the time. If I just start bringing stuff up, I'm not going to link it. But the interesting engineering article on this MIT AI agent that will help us stop being stupid in the future. This has so many uses, and really, like, one of them seems good. Any AI app, agent, data, model that is going to try to learn human behavior and then predict it for us, I can't think of that many great outcomes. I mean, unless you're like constantly struggling on, oh man, like a relationship, trying to get work, maybe could they use it like diet? How would it would just predict like you like to get up in the middle of the night and eat gummy bears. Like, I know I do that. What are you going to do? Tell me I do that? Get out of here. I feel like this is being developed and some dude like Zuckerberg or Elon Musk are going to get their hands on it and we're doomed. We're all doomed. Again, in the comments, if you can figure out what an AI agent that can predict our behavior and help us not make the same mistakes in the future is beneficial to actually us, like, is this going to be something we even have access to, or is this going to be some big corporate MIT, the financial sector and the educational sector utilized to monitor us to predict what students will be tardy? Imagine that. These corporations get their hands on it and they're like, we marked you late. And you're like, I've had perfect attendance. And they're like, yeah, but the AI agent is saying that next month you're going to be late on Monday. And you're like, what? They're like, yeah, and we trust the robots. So there's got to be some kind of guardrails. What are they called when you're bowling? They put the bumpers in. I think they're just called bumpers. We're going to have some kind of bumpers on this AI tech that's coming out. Danny Gonzalez, if you don't watch him on YouTube, he is one of the funniest cats. And he's great because you know what? His comedy reaches all ages. You could be 10 to 110, and that guy's funny. And I genuinely mean that. I know I said it sarcastically. Or I was using my sarcastic font. That's the other thing. Can the AI agents pick up on sarcasm? That's the one thing the robots I don't think will ever be able to interpret. Sarcasm. Keep being sarcastic, my friends, and we will stay out of the AI war. But Danny Gonzalez just released a video yesterday, talking about trying to save boomers from these AI Midsummer, Midjourney, whatever. Midsummer's a Swedish movie, but thriller. But trying to save these boomers on Facebook from being tricked by the AI Midjourney generated photos. Some of them look real, but again, look at the face, look at the hands. Those things, these AI generated images always get wrong. The hands are always weird. Or just look at, like, instead of saying like Adidas, it'd be like ADDDZS. Like the spelling's always, or it wouldn't even be like letters. It would be like AD rectangle, triangle with the circle in it, the snowman, and a Z. That's the other way you can always tell. But it's getting treacherous out here. It is, because now you got to have an eye, not just for misinformation, but AI generated information. Soon we're going to see like Abraham Lincoln, instead of those jib jabs where you can put someone's face in and they dance around. We're going to have like, all sorts of characters from history coming out and saying stuff that they never did. And I don't know. We're living in a weird time. I'm from the 90s, so I remember when you had beepers. You had to go find a payphone to call somebody that paged you. The good old days. All right. I'm gonna wrap this up, but I felt like that these AI agents that can predict our human behavior. This is happening in 2024. So what do we think? 2030 until the government gets its hands on this technology and they're predicting all of our behaviors. We're gonna scan in everywhere we go with a chip in our arm. Is it irony the people that were like thinking Bill Gates was trying to microchip them are also the people that are excited Elon Musk wants to microchip them? I don't want to be microchipped at all. And the fact that they're developing that tech is highly concerning. Okay. Sorry for the daily technology anxiety attack. If you could hit that like and subscribe button, it's free for you. It means the world to me. If you could pray for me, if you could pray that Jesus resurrects my radio career just like he resurrected himself over Easter weekend, it would mean the world to me. I'm in desperate need of some of God's grace, mercy. May his will be my way. So if you could pray for me, I would highly appreciate that I get this job I'm going for. And if you could hit that subscribe button. I can't do this without you. I love doing this, and I'm hoping to build this YouTube channel up so we can do it a little more professionally. Actually have a real camera. I would love to have a real camera, not do everything on my phone. One day. And you're going to help me get there. And to everybody who has subscribed, thank you. Silver lining on the gray clouds over every day of mine. Silver lining. I love seeing the new subscribers, so thank you so much. It means the world to me. And hit that notification bell once you hit subscribe, because like I said, I give you my word. I'm doing a live every weekday. Sometime I might go live again later tonight because there were some more news stories, but I get a couple things to do, so maybe I'll jump on here a little later, 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. or so. But if you hit that notification bell, you'll get notified. You can jump in, join in the chat, in the comments, read what we're talking about in the description. So hit that notification bell. Thank you so much. Salute.